girl, Raw Cannon. This is PSA, Philly Service Announcement. Glockaware Radio, take over Tuesday, every Tuesday, 5 to 6. I'm your girl, Nick, Raw Cannon. We got special guests on the show. You know, we don't never introduce our special guests. We always let our special guests introduce themselves. But, you know, I just want to make sure. Hold on, let me put my headphones on. I'm tripping. Oh, my cat. I can't do this.
Yeah, we got to put the headphones on.
Let me get a microphone. You got a microphone? Let me get a microphone. No, we can't do this. I got to keep this thing on. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you hear me too, Ken? Yeah. All right, there we go. Can you hear me? Okay, cool. I can't hear me, so I'm going to start over. This is Philly Service Announcement, Glockaware Radio. Take over Tuesday, every Tuesday, 5 to 6. I got a microphone in my hand because I usually wear the headphones, but the headphones ain't going over my cap. I got to represent my cap because I have not had the opportunity to celebrate my graduation with my PSA community. So, since y'all was not able to be there, I'm bringing the graduation to y'all with my cap on. Hey! We got special guests in the building. We don't never introduce our special guests. We let our special guests introduce themselves. And my brother Rue, he coming. You know, he a man of many things. So he is coming and he's on his way. But, you know, he's probably doing something for the community right now that is holding him up. But without further ado, I would like our special guests to introduce themselves and share with us who they are, if they are on any platforms, any social media platforms, where can people find you, any websites, emails, or whatever. But without further ado, our special guest for today.
Go ahead. My name is Horace Clouden, and basically I'm a educator advocate. And let me just pass it over to my wife, and then we'll go.
Yeah, if you could, I'm sorry, if you're just talking to the mic sometimes with the air on, it can drown us out a little bit.
Peace and love, family. I am Mama Gail. I have been an advocate in education for over 30 years. I am at Strawberry Mansion currently creating an intergenerational, international teaching learning space where folks from all over the city can come together and learn. And I say intergenerational, but I also said international because we're creating a model. I need it, brother. Yes, it's a model for the world. And I found out because my daughter and I have been at the UN for years. So 2 years ago, or I should say prior to 2 years, I had been at the UN for 10 years, being mentored by Queen Mother, Dr. Lois Blakely. I just want to make sure this is going. Thank you.
I'm sorry. We apologize. We had some technical difficulties. I just want to make sure y'all can hear her now. Could you speak in the microphone so we can confirm that you can hear her? We can hear you good.
Peace and love.
There we go. Okay. There we go. We apologize, everybody. We apologize. And I'm so sorry. But could you repeat what you just said? I know it was a lot.
It was okay.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
It was practice. So I'll say peace, love, and joy, family. I am Mama Gail. I have been an activist in Philadelphia for over 30 years. I've been involved in education on many different levels. I have been a parent involvement specialist, which is my love, my passion, trying to help parents so that we can improve the quality of life for families here, knowing that if you live here, you affect the world. This is one of the most spiritual and holy places on this planet. And so I know that, and I use the energy to send love throughout the world. I created a center called Peace Suite, SUITE, at Strawberry Mansion High School. This is the fourth center that I've created, or I should say the third center, but the fourth space that I recreated. My daughter Leah and I have worked tirelessly to create spaces that were intergenerational. We started about 9 years ago together at Huey, not knowing that that year that we were sent there, and I say by God, to Huey School, that it was going to be the last year of Huey, that the school district was going to relinquish the school over to the charter school system.
Oh.
And so we were in a space where we were able to change lives by
Wow.
being there.
And where's Huey? Where is that?
Huey
at?
was at 52nd and Cedar, right across the
Okay.
street from Malcolm X Park.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So after leaving Huey, we went over to Sayre Recreation Center, where my husband was a building engineer, and we did our thing. My husband, being an engineer, decided to paint the whole building, and he did that and
Wow.
changed the tiles on the floors, and you have to see it. You'd have to see the pictures of it,
Right.
because it's changed since we left.
Oh,
okay?
I'm sure.
After leaving there, we went to Penrose School, and we did a transformation of a space there. But I think that our biggest love, peace, brother,
Peace.
our biggest love is this one, because it's a suite. So we have 3 rooms. The first room we call the Welcome Center, which is a space that has computers. It has seating where people can sit and be at home. And one of the things that I know, being a person that works with parents and guardians and staff and children, is that many of our children in Philadelphia are homeless. And so I wanted to create a space where people could come and feel at home.
Right.
I can't control their lives, but I can help them improve their life by creating a space they can come and learn.
Right.
So again, it's a learning space, it's a teaching space, it's a training center, if that's what you need at the time. It's a space where groups from all over the city can come together and connect, share information, and share resources. So
Very
I look at
important.
it as a hub.
Yes.
You want me to keep
Yes.
talking? Because I can keep going
No,
on.
no, listen. Well, I do want you to keep talking, but I do want to just kind of jump in there really quickly, because you gave us abundance of information there. And from what I hear, you are doing some amazing, great things in our community, things that are needed, spaces that are needed, safe spaces are needed for our children, especially the homeless population. And the thing that that drives me in what I do and professionally is attack this seriousness of homelessness that we are experiencing in the city of Philadelphia, specifically for our transitional age youth.
Yeah.
And it is a major problem, and it sounds like the resource that you have can definitely add to helping our youth put the pieces of their life together. And starting with a space, a safe space, is very, very important.
Let me say again, intergenerational, because one of the things that I learned as a person approaching 70 is that we have got to use what we know. Right? We have
Right.
got to go back to the basics, using
Absolutely.
the older people, the elders, bringing their knowledge to our children. Too many times we've given over our children to people who our ancestors raised.
Exactly.
So to have a space where, knowing that many of the parents and the guardians have not been educated because they came through the same schools, right?
Right.
So you have people that can't read, can't write, and they're the parents or grandparents. So it's a space where parents can come, guardians can come. There's no judgment. We meet them where they are. So it's a space where they can come and learn how to read, learn how to use the computer. We have, I just talked about the Welcome Center. That's just one room.
Right.
So going into the next room, we have the Peace Cafe, which is a kitchen, right? But is for teaching cooking. If there's if there's an event going on in the school, it would be a place for the food to be prepared. Not on a large scale,
Right.
but banquet, like small banquet, right? It's also a space where we have computers. So if somebody needed to go and sit at a computer and work on something like business,
Right.
it's an informal space in the room. Then we have the pantry. So food is delivered to that space. We have a laundry area. The goal is to have people helping each other. Again, intergenerational. We have the next space across the hall, which is the retreat corner. I said retreat corner. So you can go in there and learn yoga, meditation,
Wow.
Tai
that
Chi,
is
Qigong,
wonderful.
right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm a Reiki master. I've been a healer for many years.
Wow.
So I have community of people that are healers, right? So to bring folks together, the last part of the space, is what I call the children's lane. You know, people say stay in your lane.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so when grown folks are talking in the other space, children will be in the children's lane.
Yeah.
And so we have and we're still setting up. We're doing the finishing touches now.
Okay.
So children will be able to go there, and we have a space set up for reading hours. So elder or someone could sit in the rocking chair, have a rocking chair, wicker rocking chair, and read to the children in the corner. We're going to put, we have some computers that we're going to put there as well. Not a lot because it's a healing space.
Right.
But they will be able to go on and not play games, but learn on there, right? Because they play games all the time.
Yeah, they
many
do.
of
They
them.
need to get off of the games.
Right.
I'm
So
so sick of the games.
that's the last part of it. But again, it's intergenerational and international. My daughter and I represented the United States of America in Korea in February 2020. 2 Americans out of 250 Americans out of 6,000 delegates from around the world, because of the centers that we were creating. Someone saw
Wow.
it and said they wanted us to go to the World Summit. So we represented us.
Us.
We.
All of us.
That's right. That's right.
All of us.
That's right. So I'm proud of that.
I'm super proud of that.
And
I'm very proud of that. And the fact that you're sitting next to me on our show makes me even more proud of that.
I'm proud of what you just did. Because we all about to change the world. Because we've been doing it, but now it's time to go big.
It's time to go big, and it's time for the world to recognize what we are doing to change our community.
That's what this is about today.
It's time.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Absolutely.
I'm just telling you.
Absolutely.
I don't waste time. All right?
And she here with us. So listen. And I'm sure, really quick before my brother Rue, because I'm sure he has some questions. I'm sure he has something he wants to say. Could you please provide the location of the hub? Is it open now?
We haven't opened yet.
Okay.
We're waiting, and I'm glad to be saying this publicly because we've been waiting for legal with the school district.
Oh, okay.
And so we're supposed to create a MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. And 2 years ago, we were at that point before, okay?
COVID.
And so I'm just starting, my daughter and I are just starting back about 7-8 weeks ago.
Okay.
We were waiting, and we got the call to come back. So we went back to Strawberry Mansion. So we haven't stopped,
Right.
but we want to get all the dots on the I's and the T's crossed.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that when y'all come in full force, you're in there.
And I would be glad to be there. PSA would be happy to be there to represent at the grand opening. We can go there, do the show. I'm sure my brother Rue got some ideas. He's been quiet over there. It looked like he's been fighting everything in him. So let me take a step back and let my brother Rue, go ahead and...
this is PSA, Philly Service Announcement. I'm the assist, Jarue. So I wasn't being quiet just because I ain't had nothing to say.
Oh, I know that.
I was being quiet because, You wasn't here last week.
I wasn't.
So I had to do the whole show by myself. I don't like doing the show by myself. So I'll let you go ahead and, go ahead and get you working. Plus, it's the energy between you and Mama Gail is amazing. So I was just paying attention to that. I like them, and I've met her already a couple times. I've been to Strawberry Mansion. I've seen what it looks like. I got a lot of information for what we can do on Broad Street and what we will do on Broad Street, and she gonna come in and check it out. But a lot of what she explained is very similar, if not almost possibly just the same thing, except for a couple things of what we doing on Broad Street.
Yes.
So us being so close together, and I'm definitely, when I went around there, when I talked to her, when I seen what her daughter was doing, I told her like what I'm doing around there, and she was telling me, to get like some of the chairs and the tables. It was a place where she got a whole bunch of them. She was just giving me, a lot of game
some
on.
good advice.
Listen, this is something that works. I could feel it when I first met her that whatever she doing works. Because when I met her at Bigger Drake, who was on here, he did.
I was going to ask you where was the connection made?
He did he had the video for Bring Our Girls Back,
right?
And he was doing like a premiere down at the Tundra on 40th Street. So me and Rita went.
Okay.
And when he was he was explaining everything about the video and everything, and then he had Mama Gail come up and speak, and she had her staff. I don't see
she's
it.
not here.
I don't see it. And it's like when she came in the room, or when she got up to start talking, Rita was like, "Yo, I could feel her energy."
She demanded your presence,
she
like
was
just
like,
by
I
standing.
could feel it too. But when she started talking, it was like you just be like
mesmerized.
You know what I'm saying? So of course, I'm definitely gonna go talk to her. So after everything was over, I talked to her. Me and Rita talked to her, and I got her number. And I was supposed to call her, but I never got a chance to call her. I had it written down on a piece of paper. So I never got a chance to. I didn't know what I did with the paper. So I ran into a brother named P. Frost, Paul, at Frontline Dads.
Okay.
And I don't know how Mama Gail came up in the conversation. He might have even said something about it. And I was like, "Yo, you know the queen with the staff. She got the staff in that joint." He was like, "I know, right?" And you know what I mean? He was like, "But I got her number right here." This really how the conversation went at Frontline Dads on Broad Street, right up the street from us. You know what I mean? And I was like, "Yo, I gotta get her number because I've been wanting to have her on the show." So then another brother that was up here, I didn't know he knew Mama Gail too. Akimba.
Oh.
Yeah. So he called me to buy a hoodie. And he was at Strawberry Mansion with Mama Gail. And he was like, "Yo, come, this where I'm at." You know what I mean? Bring the hoodie there. So when I come there, and,
Mama Gail right there. It was destined to happen again. Like it was destined.
And she was explaining to me everything was going on. You should see the artwork in the hallways of Mansion.
I have to go.
You know what I mean?
I have to
go. The center, the hub that she putting together. I'm like, "Yo, everything that's going on in here, we gonna do something very similar to that on Broad Street." And we dealing with the same thing when you talk about homelessness, dealing with Eddie's House and what Eddie's House does. It's something that's not talked about enough in our city. We talk about gun violence. Gun violence is the end result of being homeless,
That's right.
of being on drugs. With K&A is a major part of that. I talk about that all the time. When you look at the Philadelphia news, everything is about gun violence, And I'm not saying that's not important. It's not new. That's number one. And it's the end result of all of these other maladies that we're not talking anything about.
These
And
oppressive
homelessness
systems,
is
and
one of
housing
those
is one
maladies.
of them.
Yes. But housing is wrapped around gentrification.
Yes.
And then we can't really talk about the housing crisis, because that's what it is in Philadelphia.
It is a housing crisis.
Without
It's a
talking
major
about
housing
gentrification.
crisis. It's major.
So that's the reason for me. That's one of the reasons why, one of the glaring reasons why you don't hear about homelessness in Philadelphia and it being a crisis on the news. Because you can't talk about it without talking about gentrification and the part that plays in it. And just, how black folks are being treated no matter where they at in America.
Basically.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a major connection with what Mama Gail is doing and what we doing at the drop-in center on Broad Street, and being able to link those two, because you know me. I'm gonna be
always
around there.
making
I'm gonna be
connections.
calling her.
Always
I'm gonna be asking her to come around. I'm gonna be going around there. What you need me to do? You need me to carry some chairs, so she can start telling me the stories, giving me the game. You know what I mean? So and because I want to ask more questions, as you know, and I want you to talk about having your master's. So we ain't gonna get because I see you.
You see, listen, I had to bring the graduation to the show.
Yes.
To share and do this with my PSA community because
no doubt.
It is in fact a major milestone in my life. And one of the things that I think about is when I first went away to college. It was a long time ago. I ain't gonna throw too many numbers, years out there, but my grandmother was the first person. She took me to college for the first time. And since my grandmother took me to college for the first time, my grandmother and my mother, both my grandmothers and my mother have passed. So me finishing up this year in 2022, since all those years ago when I first went and not having them be there, it hurt, but I had so much love and support from my family, my husband. My aunt is like, since my mom been gone, she's been the next best thing for me. And I feel like just having that, it was enough. It made me whole. You know what I mean? Because you talked about going to your niece's graduation, right? You took her, right? And then you were there to see her graduate. You took her for her first day of college, and then you were there to see her graduate. Like being able to accomplish those things and still have the support of the people who was there with you when you started that journey is really, really major. And not having those people there for me made me think about so many things, right? How we living, the way we eating, all the diseases that are plaguing our people, diabetes, heart disease, and stuff like that, because it was definitely that. And drugs. Like, let's not get away from, the drugs and the alcohol and all the stuff we put into our body that don't do us no good. But it just made me think about that. And for me, having my master's in social work, wanting to work and advocate to improve the quality of lives of the people that I'm working with and servicing, I got to start with me, right? So it's like a wake-up call. And it's celebratory. Don't get me wrong. It was hard work. It was dedication. It was not giving up. It was taking a break and having to go back, because you got to recognize, I learned a lot about myself on this journey. And one of the most important things for me that allowed me to succeed is I learned boundaries. I learned that I can say and take time for myself to take care of me and not have to do the work, not have to go to a job, not have to look out for other people, all the kids I got. I'm running around behind the kids, the husband, everybody else, and still trying to do all these things, and it became overwhelming, and I really almost had to stop myself from breaking down, and I had to take a step away and say, you know what, this is too much right now. So I took that break, realized some things about myself, learned things about myself as a person, and I vowed that I'm not going to cheat myself anymore. I'm going to work on me. So that's why when I went back and I finished, I did social work and all that, but I'm also mastering me. So that was my theme, mastering me. It's on my hat, mastering me. Y'all see it? It's mastering me. My daughter did my hat. But I'm mastering me. And in the process of me mastering me, I'm becoming a better person. I'm becoming a better human being, and I'm able to help people better. So I'm mastering me here on PSA, and PSA is a part of it.
Yeah, she owed us a lot of time. Yo. We
Listen,
celebrate. She owed us some time.
because the devil is busy. The devil is busy.
Yes.
And
Yes.
like I said, I have to realize and recognize when I need to do things for myself. And that includes with PSA too. I love PSA, but sometimes see I tell my brother Rue all the time, listen, I love what you're doing. All this running around here and there, doing this, always got your hand in something. I love it. It's great. You are all over the place. But you're going to need to take some time for yourself, brother.
But this is the thing, though. I do take time for myself. I seriously do. But I do.
You laughing, right? I don't know about that.
I'm gonna tell y'all how. This is a real thing. Yo, I really do love doing what I do.
You do.
I really do love being a part of people's spirit, their journey, and them being able to look at me and say, yo, he played a part in this.
Yes.
Like, I did something. I progressed in some way. Yo, I really do. I love that. Like, that's what give me the energy. Like, people be like, yo, you don't be sleeping. I be like, because I have a job, a career, a calling, whatever you want to call it, that I actually love being in people's business and helping them through it. Nah, but for real, I really do. That really does bring joy to my life, to be able to help other people, be around people and they happy. Like right now, like being in this room and everybody good.
Yeah, like this space. Good. Yes, it definitely does.
So a part of what I do, even though, yes, I do need rest. Rest is important. I do need to eat right. Yes. I do need to get out my car more.
Yes.
But
and not living it.
One of the things that relieves my stress is what I do. You know what I'm saying?
I totally understand that feeling. That feeling. You know, it is definitely something about being able to help and see that help progress and see that help get paid forward. You know, when you are able and you're in a position to help other people, put them in a position to help other people, that is just like the best feeling. That is amazing. It's the best feeling. And I've been doing it, and I've been that journey, that feeling that you get. Feeling. See, you ain't got 5 little ones pulling at your legs and your arms and stuff. I
got different size people.
Yeah, you got different. Yeah, you got different size people doing that.
I wish they was my little people doing that. I got other size people doing that to me, and I got to deal with that too.
And you do.
But this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. I want to make sure I don't forget that. When she said being multi-generational and how we do things, that's one of the things about the energy with being around Mama Gail. Like, yo, okay, I want to get all the information I can get from my elder.
Exactly.
I'm big on that.
Exactly.
And I know to a certain extent I'm people's elder. So it's like I need to get as much wisdom from her because there's people that's looking at me the same way. And that's a role that I don't mind fulfilling. I don't mind getting to that point, being there now and getting further in and being, you know, one of them storytellers, because I do like to talk.
Exactly.
And I love to have good conversation.
And to have someone like this available to us as a community, we need to take advantage of it.
I am.
Because people like me who lost both of her grandmothers and mother, you know, like the generations are being lost. Like we're getting to, you know, like with the sickness and the disease and all of that. And some families don't have someone that is able to give them that knowledge.
That wisdom.
Because they're gone. I'm one of those people. Having her sitting here next to me is just sending chills through my body because I don't have that. You know? So this is, her presence is special for everybody in our community. And it lets us know and see that we need to reach to our older generation, our elders that are more knowledgeable than us, that can take us back to real grassroots stuff, not this stuff that we coming up in and learning, and our parents is coming up in and learning. Exactly.
The metaverse. But look,
right, Mama.
But before I go too far, I want to know why this gentleman is sitting here. I'm trying to get an understanding of why he's here.
Can I put your headphone on?
Yeah, because I'm trying to understand.
Let me tell you.
That's you heard her.
Let me tell you why.
Because I'm sitting on a stool.
Let her.
And I'm trying to realize why this brother is
let
here.
her
And I'm
tell
on
you.
a
She
stool.
about to tell you
I
right
didn't
now.
realize that, man.
No, I told
you
him.
good,
I made him sit there because
Yeah, I was listen. I was
know.
late on purpose today because I was here by myself last week.
Yeah, because he like being smart to me. Like what I do.
Because I'm petty. I'm petty. I'm petty.
E-T-T-Y.
So I want to tell you all, everybody watching, everybody listening, this is my man.
Y'all heard her. This is her man.
This is my man. We've been married next month, 47 years.
47
Longer than I've been born.
years.
This is
That as long as I've been born. 47 years.
We need all the game. Come on, let them.
I can only
I need all the
imagine
game.
getting here
Yeah, I need all
where
the
I'm
game.
at right now. I'm going on 10 years in June. I can only imagine what it's going to take to get here. Can you? This is beautiful. Oh
so
my gosh.
I asked my husband to come because, and he's Baba Horace Clouden III. I asked him to come because out of all that I've done, he's always been my support. So I would tell people all the time, I work for God and my husband pays me. Did you hear me?
I heard you. Did y'all hear that? Could you repeat that, please?
I said, I used to say, I work for God and my husband pays me. However, I got my Social Security now. So I had that. So he still pays me, but not like he did before. Horace, I really wanted him to come, and I'm going to try to push as much as I can because he's an advocate as well. He retired from the school district this time around, but he retired at 40 from Bell Telephone. Went back to work at 50 and then retired from the school district. I wanted him to be here because he serves on the school advisory, the advisory council to the Board of Education. And he's advocated, even when he worked for the district, he spoke up for the men, the engineers that he worked with, and others. But since he's retired, he really has taken this seriously. And when my husband was sick, he got sick from being exposed to carbon monoxide in a school. So he almost died because of the job. He ended up going back and finishing, and that's a whole nother day story. However, I wanted him to come because he has created, when he was sick, he started creating books. Having been an engineer, relief engineer for in over 100 schools, he started when he was sick, creating books showing the district what was going on in the district, how to fix it. So this was when Dr. Hite came in. He when they were closing schools, and he could talk for himself, but I'm just trying to say to you why I brought him here. Because everybody in Philadelphia, whether you agree or not, needs to hear what he has to say about schools. Because even though I've been advocating for years at school board meetings and in the streets and everywhere, when he came to help, he came with a different energy because being male and loving math. And his grandmother used to say, bless her soul, that she wanted him to be a math teacher. And so when I saw all the numbers that he came with a different perspective. So when I saw all the numbers and what he was saying, now we did a thing when my daughter and I would be at the school board, he'd be at work, and we'd be on the phone with him. And I told him, I said, this is like a chess match. I don't know chess, but I recognize chess, and I saw it. And so we'd be on the phone, and he'd say this, after he heard what was being said, right? And so to have him out front and speaking for himself on his own is what I love, because he comes from a different perspective. And he can tell you the numbers of the failure in our district, the lies that have been told. This is truth time. And I'm going to say this to your audience, whether you believe me or not. I'm going to digress. Whether you believe me or not, when you said your grandmoms and your mom, I have to tell you, Whether you believe it or not, they're with you.
Oh yeah.
So when we talk about them, they're with you. We are here in the physical, but they're with you spiritually, right by your side.
Yeah, they are.
You can smell the scent sometimes, you can hear songs, and they'll remind you, we with you, baby.
Yeah.
Right? So I want y'all to understand, understand, overstand that our ancestors walk with us. That's another story, another time, but I need to say that to you.
I appreciate that.
And please, family, please think about what you say, because you have power in your words. And a lot of times they have you saying things, repeating things from one to another that takes the power from you. We're in one of the most powerful times that we've been in. And so our ancestors went through it too, where they just, that's where we at now. I don't care what it looks like, what it feels like. The doors are open for us, and it's to take each other by the hand together and do this thing.
Yes.
Because for real, and I tell people when I'm teaching all the time, you don't have to believe nothing I'm telling you, but what if what I'm telling you is correct? If the doors were open and all you were told was take each other by the hand, how hard is that?
Mm-hmm.
It's not complicated, very, very simple. So having said that, taking my baby by the hand, my man by the hand,
That's right.
and tell them, baby, what you need to tell them.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Basically, like she said, I was into the numbers. I got sick, and I've been retired for maybe 3, going on 4 years now. Did 12 and a half years with the school district as a building engineer off the street. Okay, so been in over 100 buildings. So I know where everything pretty much is in all these buildings, where the closed Olympic-sized swimming pools are. You know, where you have your brand new high schools with these $1 million light and sound boards that they don't use. You know, where there's a black box in Fells. You know, for those that know about theater, there's a black box in Fells High School. You know, the different stuff everywhere in the school district. Now, with that basically being said, before COVID, the data, and this is the school district's data, it's not our data, it's their data on their website. You know, 92% of the schools were operating at an F. That means the academic level was 60%, you know, as a D. Everybody was coming in under 60%. We had 24 high schools that were coming in at 0% student achievement. 0 out of 100. There's only 52 high schools, so 24 of them was coming in at 0%. You know, because we're always challenged with time. The most important things that need to be said is this. We need to go back to junior high schools, 7th, 8th, and 9th. You know, I'm got an audience with the school board on June 16th, and the topic is about K to 8, which is what we have now, kindergarten to 8th grade, versus middle schools. But my thing is not middle schools, because here in this present system, middle schools are failing as well. Out of the 20 middle schools, 17 of them came in at an F. So middle schools is not the answer. The answer is junior high schools, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Okay, now when I say junior high schools, I mean 30 to 35,000 children across Philadelphia. You know, when people bring in ideas, their ideas affect maybe 600 children, 1,000, let's say 2,000. But we have an idea right here that will affect really all 110,000 children, but with the main focus on 30 to 35,000 to bring back equity in education, where we have a K to 6 that pretty much we know there's a pattern of the next 2 years. When they get to high school, they're going to be 70% on English and math, won't be able to do on grade level. So we already know that going in. This present superintendent has given presentations to these numbers. So we know the next 2 years, we're going to have 9th graders coming in not on grade level in math and English. So what we have to do is introduce junior high schools to catch this stuff, to stop this stuff, to stop it in the 7th grade and help these children be ready by the 10th grade. Because here, we want high school to be 10th, 11th, and 12th. Even when you have a trade school, they don't get the trade until they're in 10th grade. So they don't need 4 years in a trade school, okay? So we're talking 7th, 8th, and ninth. And the main thing is this. You know, you hear them say, well, we need to introduce the children to the arts. You know, they just give a blanket statement. We need to introduce the children to the arts. But there's 6 different forms of the arts, you know, that every child, 7th, 8th, and ninth should have access to, whether they want to, you know, just to try it. You know, right now we have data that's saying that these principals are saying that 100% of the children are being exposed to visual/performing arts. But yet the fine print says unless you have 90% student attendance, then you can't have that person being counted as one being participant of the arts. So here we have falsifications on the data about who's being exposed to what. You know, we have a new superintendent coming in June 16th. I'm supposed to present this junior high school piece to the Board of Education on June 16th. So hopefully he will be in attendance June 16th. And it's vital that he be in attendance because he's coming from a different state. He doesn't know what's going on in Philadelphia. He probably doesn't even know how to get to Central, Masterman, or Engineering and Science, our top 3 schools. Everybody else is failing. Everybody else is failing. That's why you heard all this about site selection. I don't know if you heard the site selection thing going on, but the parents and the students were so upset, you know, that they couldn't get into the top 3, that they didn't want to get into any other high school, even though at the time we had 20 special admit high schools, but out of the 20, only 3 were passing. So here again, the system was 8% from total failure. You know, we're talking 215 schools. We're talking 111,000 children. You know, 8% from total failure. So the thing is, junior high schools having a 1 to 18 teacher ratio, because for years we've been hearing the system saying, well, we can fit at least 30 children in a classroom. That's all we heard. Well, you know, the classroom maximum size is 30 children in the classroom. But this year's budget shows that they can afford 1 teacher to 18 children in a classroom. So you don't have to have that 30 in the classroom. And see, the thing is, when they have the school board meetings, all this stuff is there. You know, it's transparent. It's transparent. But when you don't understand what you're reading, when you don't challenge what you're reading, the next thing you know, we got 30 in a classroom. They give us narratives like, oh, we can't find no teachers. There's a teacher shortage. Well, yet the data showed that you have 6,900 teachers on the payroll. And that 6,900 teachers can create a 1 to 18 ratio. So it's not that you have you can't find any teachers. And then when they say to us, well, we can't find any black teachers. It's not that you can't find any black teachers. All your black teachers are in charter schools. But you put the wall up so high that they can't get in from certification. So we can't get no black teachers because you're not hiring black teachers. It's just as simple as that.
Yep.
It's just as simple as that. And then when you say resources, you know, the principals say we need resources, we need resources, we need resources. Well, your number one resource is your teacher that's not coming to work. The district spent $27 million on substitute teaching last year, plus put in for another $27 million for this year that's coming up. So they estimate another $27 million worth of teachers not coming to work. You know, it's just, you know, I try to speak up for the people. I'm in there, I speak up for the people because they hear it over and over. They say, Horace, all right, Horace, what you got to say? All right, Horace, what you got to say? All right, Horace, what you got? And I say it, they respect me for saying it. They like, okay, Horace, this is what we're going to do. We're going to give you an audience June 16th, and we're going to have you challenge the school district on your junior high school model. So that's what I'm ready for.
Yo,
I can't wait.
I'm smiling not because
I can't wait.
I'm smiling not because I love information. Mm-hmm. So when somebody starts giving out information that's similar to what I know about, or even in contrast to what I know about, it make me smile because it make my brain start working. You know what I'm saying? So hearing this and knowing what I understand about the school board, schools in general, just I bring this up a lot because again, you need to know how a thing started to understand where you place yourself in it in time.
Right.
So there was a whole conference about, and y'all need to understand this. This is not empty information. There was a conference about how African folks were going to be educated in America. It's called the Mohawk Conference. Mohawk is an island off the coast of New York. It was 1889, 1891. That's how your black colleges popped up, and they came up with whole curriculums on how we were supposed to be educated. That's important because it brings us to what the brother is saying. Now, I don't know if all his information is accurate, but he got the book, and I'm going to go look it up because that's what this makes me want to do.
Absolutely.
But I can tell he ain't just moving in some, it's like everything else. They say we want you to debate basically the school board because you have an idea on how this might work. But you can't come up with the idea without actually going and looking at the data. So I know a lot of what he's saying is true, and it's just a difference of approach on what the strategy is going to be now.
Right.
So that's why I'm smiling. That's why I'm looking at this brother. I'm like, I love to hear this. And I can give you some experiment stuff. Like me and my brother ran for state rep. One of the things that we talked about when we talked about education was you could do the verses with charter versus public. But our thing was, and I push this and I'm going to keep pushing this. And I feel like it goes along with what my brother is saying. If you empower the parent, they can know how to go at this school. And it don't matter if it's charter or public.
It doesn't.
Because the parent is informed of when the budget meeting is. Something I posted. I'm not saying that to get y'all to go look at it. But when they had the budget meeting, I posted that. Because that's information that most parents don't know nothing about. And if they do know, then they'll want to go to the budget meeting. They'll ask questions. And if they don't understand certain things, they'll start going to people. Well, they said this number, that number, this number.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand, but I know something wasn't right.
Exactly.
And then they might run into this brother, they might run into me, they might run into my brother, and we can give them a clearer understanding on what the numbers is that they heard.
Exactly.
So one of the parts, again, that made me smile about what you were saying is you talking about empowering our folks. Because you had the time to look at the data. Now, since I did the work for us, I need the platforms to let our people know that this is an idea. This is something that can be supported. And if we push it, now what he's saying, like his wife so eloquently said, now we can hold his hand and walk through the door.
Absolutely.
He did the work.
He did the work.
Even if you read what he put and you don't agree, now it opens up your mind to say, listen, hey, that part right there, everything you said was correct, but maybe we need to take into the age range things. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just throwing something out there, but now that you informed, you want to ask questions and then we can build on what we know is going to work.
Exactly.
You know, or what we think is going to work, or what we can correct what was already going on, and we got to situate it a different type of way. So that's why I was smiling while I was talking, not because I like what's going on with our people in the school district, or I'm just, about the numbers or whatever, but it's that part about now we're informed. Now you got the data. Now this resource show,
now
we can go back, see some of the things he said, go look it up, because he said this ain't stuff he made up. This is the school district data that he looked through and said, oh, y'all playing games. Y'all telling all these parents it's not enough teachers. And I can show the parent where it is enough teachers, so now they can go to the school and demand, well, y'all need to start telling people to come back to work, or y'all need to break something up some type of way. We need to figure something out. But this is something I guarantee you most parents don't know. Right. They just think the school don't got enough teachers, so my baby can't learn. I'm already working 9 to 5, can't be there to most meetings. I don't have the teacher saying, oh, I'm scrapping it together to make sure. Not saying that this don't happen, teachers. I know y'all gonna be upset with me. But y'all know that information too, though. And if you didn't, now you got somebody telling the teachers, because the teachers might have been believing it.
And not only
some young teachers that come in, they thinking, oh, this school is like this because it's not enough of us. The same thing what you said about being black. Right. You might have those 1 or 2 black teachers in there thinking, oh, we the only ones that want to teach our babies. Mm-hmm. So we got to accept the fact that it's an overpopulation of white women who are not culturally sound enough in most cases to teach your baby.
Culturally competent.
I'm not even talking about her heart, her conscience, none of that.
None.
She's not informed enough to teach your baby. That's all I'm saying. But now the younger teachers got some data from this brother to let them know y'all not alone. The system that y'all working for ain't hiring y'all. Now y'all can make a press too. Mm-hmm. So That's why I love hearing what this brother said. I'm smiling. And whenever you go to do that, let me know. I want to be there. I need you to come back to the show.
June 16th.
Because we need more information. You spent 2 years doing it. Here go the
June
microphones.
16th.
You can let us know. I'm good with it.
June 16th.
You know what I'm saying? Here go the microphone. I think y'all know where the place at now.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
I love it. You know what I mean? And I had June 16th. Thank you for keep saying it. June 16th. Can we be there? Ain't that something that people can come to?
That's the demand. That's the demand.
Okay.
That is open to the public at 440.
Open to the public.
That's the demand.
Just because you see some people going in there with suit and ties, don't mean you can't come in there dressed like I am right now. It's open to the public.
Open to the public.
No, that's the demand.
We want to open it up to the public
demand.
because it's about our kids.
It's supposed to be private, but it should be public, and that's the demand.
I thought y'all wasn't being sneaky, and y'all was being sneaky in this one too.
There's the key. There's the key. There's the key. So we want it to be public.
June
16th.
June 16th.
And
June 16th.
we need to.
Where is it going to be at?
Well, it's a Zoom.
Oh, it's a Zoom?
Everything is a Zoom, but like you said, we either to have it there or across the street in Ben Franklin High School, because they have like at least 1,000-seat auditorium.
Right.
Okay.
You know, that's what we want. So that would be the next phase or the next step.
Right.
You know, if you guys can help.
Right. So now for me, that's like they should make available a link for anybody who wants to join in. Now here is another issue with that. With it being via Zoom. It's really hard to control things via Zoom. Everybody, first of all, the timing is just not there, right? And then the amount of people that probably would like to have something to say probably won't get that opportunity via Zoom.
Well, if I may, this is really a closed door meeting between the board and the advisory council. That's all. And I even had a couple of my advisory council members really speak up, say, hey, you should let Horace have his day.
Okay.
So this is where all this came from.
Okay.
You know? So my next step would be to call one of the board members and ask, can we have it like a public forum for
demand?
This, you know.
I'm saying
Demand a public forum. And I agree because it's. Listen, these are our babies that are being educated, and all I hear, and this is a quick sidebar, all I hear about how much 27 what for substitute teachers?
27 million.
27 million for substitute teachers. All I hear is inconsistency for our children.
That's right. That's right.
That's what I hear.
That was before COVID.
That was before COVID. COVID just, oh my God, it just went through the roof.
No, COVID gave my brother time to look at this stuff like,
it definitely gave him time.
Games.
But it definitely
There's a lot of
worse.
benefits like that to COVID. I've talked to a lot of people. They
But
got
it was
a chance
worse.
to
It was
look
worse.
into things in ways they never got to do
Right.
before. Like
And
that, it slowed down for them.
Y'all
And it was
just
like,
imagine the services that children were getting in schools just stopped. It just stopped.
But if I may, an important question that came out of the COVID thing, the virtual thing is this. Is virtual legal in the home? Because a lot of people was being disenfranchised by being forced to have virtual in the home.
Right.
And nowhere does it say from the Pennsylvania Department of Education that the school district has the right to do virtual in your home.
Nowhere you could find.
Nowhere I can find. Plus, I asked the question to the board with no response. So now moving forward, one of my issues is this, to have in-person learning in the school and have virtual learning in the school. So, so moving forward, no matter what happens with another pandemic here or pandemic there, you still take your child to the school, and then the school district has to educate your child, because they don't have the right to invade your privacy to say, hey, now we're going to conduct school in your house and give you
ain't that what they did?
And give you the night before notice.
Listen,
and they had everything to say about what was going on in people's homes.
I am distrusting. I'm not gonna lie, it's a history there. You can't look at me and be like, this guy's a conspiracy. If I am a conspiracy theorist, it's because America did things to me to make me feel like it's a conspiracy going on. So I'll be looking for him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's just the reality of what happened. We have a history. I can show it. But, I never even looked at that part of it.
Yeah.
I never even thought about it being invasive. And I had conversations with moms about their children get suspended for things that happen in the background, or the teacher feeling like they could say something to the mom while she on the camera. Like, just a bunch of like crazy stuff. But I didn't think about the privacy. This is invasive. Like, you're putting cameras in all of these people's homes.
Right.
And audio. I didn't even think about that. Wow. Like, I didn't, and that's something that should be think about in America.
And I'm sure a lot of parents wasn't even thinking about it like that.
I want y'all to hear something that my husband came up with about the paying them. If you're going to come in.
Yeah. Like the school district has contracts with people to conduct schools in their buildings. Commercial buildings. So I was just saying, if you're going to conduct school in somebody's house, then you should pay them. Then you should draw up a contract for that parent to make X amount of dollars if you're going to allow them in your house. But other than that,
and that's something to think about, right?
Absolutely, because a lot parents like me who had to come home from work.
There you go.
Because the kids were forced to come home and learn. That was, and I know I'm not the only parent that said this. Like, I gotta be like a parent now. I'm teaching.
Right.
Like, these kids, y'all just sit and it's not nothing against the teachers, because they had a lot to deal with trying to teach virtually as well. But just to put that on us, like, now as the parent, now you gotta be the teacher to the child in your home. You already taking on all these roles as a parent, right? Of a young black child. You got to be their doctor. You got to be their therapist. You got to be their advocate. You just can't be a parent when you're trying to be a parent to a young black child. You got to do all these other things. And now that they brought school home virtually, now you got to be a teacher at home. You're already a teacher because you're a parent. But now you have to be the teacher that the student is supposed to go to school and learn from.
Now you're the parent that has gone to college.
Yes.
University.
Yes.
What about the one that can't read because they weren't taught to read?
Exactly.
So grandmom who's taking care of a child, right?
Exactly.
Well, I want to go back to the whole junior high school thing. Do we have time?
Go ahead.
So
I know too.
So my daughter is 45. When she was in elementary school, I have a 45-year-old and 48-year-old. We have. I was at my daughter's elementary school. I had taken them out of private school, put them in public school. And I was at a meeting, and the superintendent of the district said to us, she was in 5th grade, I believe, at the time. She's going to go. They're changing the transfiguration of the schools.
Oh yeah.
So now there's going to be 7th, 8th, 9th. Was it 7th, 8th, 9th? 10th, 11th, 12th. So women, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Right? 6, 7, 8. So I raised my hand. This is a black man. Bless your soul. I said to him, working at the phone company, as I did, if something didn't work, it seemed they would change it back. If it didn't work right away, they changed it back till they found something better. So I raised my hand, thinking about how I was a high school student going to work. So I'm in my 30s now, and I'm thinking, if this doesn't work, is there a time period where this will go, where you'll go back to what it is now? So my brother said to me, who was an elder to me at the time, bless him, he's going on. He said to me, your question is so ludicrous, I'm not even going to answer you.
Oh, wow.
I had never been talked to like that before in school. That was how they talked to parents in schools back then and now, to be honest with you. So I'm saying that to you. She's 45 now, and this happened when she was in 5th grade that they announced it.
I was a part of that.
I have seen failure ever since.
I was a part of that transition.
Ever since. So we have K to 8th grades now. We have young people that should be in high school in 8th grade. They should never be in school with a kindergartner.
Right.
We have grades that need to be checked. When you talk about the violence in the street, one of the things I used to talk about all the time is it started in school. years ago, I kept saying to Dr. Hyde's been here 10 years. I've seen a lot of, I go back to Dr. Clayton. Right,
yeah, that was
sitting with her.
superintendent when I was in
Right.
school, Dr. Clayton.
So I said to Dr. Hyde, if you don't fix this, it's going to spill in the street. Now, it's one thing for you to put all you got into your children, but all it takes is a matter of seconds for somebody whose parent did not or grandparent did not put all into their child. Your whole life, not just your child, your whole life can be destabilized in a matter of seconds because of the behavior of somebody else. They have covered up so much, didn't want it out. My thing is, tell us so we can fix it. How are you going to fix something if you don't acknowledge it? There were people who were in the schools that worked their behinds off. A lot of black teachers left schools. A lot of administrators left schools because they couldn't handle it. Talking about bullying, I saw bullying on every level over the years, from administration downtown to the local level. And I said, bullying, and I've talked publicly about it at school board meetings. You talking about bullying. The children are watching you, principals bullying staff. Staff bullying parents, staff bullying children. I mean, every level you can imagine, it's happened. And we look at the children, they learn from the adults.
Yes.
I'm saying to everybody, stand up. I don't talk about fighting, battling, or any of that, struggling. I ain't never struggled in my life. I'm saying to you, stand up, speak up for these children. You don't have to fight. And how does it sound to say, I'm fighting for this and I'm fighting for that, and then tell the children, don't fight? We got to think about what we're saying. You want peace? Let's have peace. In the streets, in the homes, in the schools. We can do that.
Yes, we
and
can.
One of the things we have to do is reclaim our children. But the first thing before that is start speaking to each other, reconnecting with each other, remembering that we used to say good morning, good night, how are you, peace, whatever. We acknowledge each other's existence. What lessons are we teaching children if we don't respect each other? We got to go back to the basics. New beginnings by going back to the basics. Our people taught in a one-room schoolhouse. A room. How do we allow people to say they can't do this and they can't do that, making, what, $52,000 in benefits now? It went from 49, but people talk about they don't make money. Guess what? You live off 47, 49 up, right? In salary for 180 days. 50 was 49 in benefits, 49,000 in benefits. They just upped it to 52,000 in benefits. So many of them are getting benefits and don't come to work. We have to, I ain't saying police, I'm saying we have to know what's going on in the schools in our community, because whatever's going on in there is affecting us outside.
Yes, it is.
So, I don't want this to end, but I don't got no money to pay for more time.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Unfortunately,
Because this is stuff that we need to know. But, like always, everybody got to come back. And I really, really appreciate y'all. I appreciate my sister rocking, she's a master. You know what I'm saying? But, yo, this is PSA, Philly Service Announcement, Takeover Tuesday, Takeover, Glockaware Radio, every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Love, support, and grace, social activism, resources,
and art.
And art. Are we out, y'all?
We love y'all.
Ooh.